Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be playing some, zombies in the background, but today the main focus is on talking about a game series that I just beat yesterday, and that is Bioshock. So yeah, like I said, we're going to have some zombies gameplay in the background. Just started up round 20 on town just for old time's sake, but yesterday I finally finished the Bioshock series, and it honestly left me speechless. Obviously there's going to be huge spoilers for the whole Bioshock series throughout this video, but let's start off, I guess, with Bioshock 1. We're not going to do like a whole story summary throughout all the games or anything like that, but I'll just kind of go over my reactions and impressions of everything. So first off, when I first beat Bioshock 1 and I got to the end, luckily, even though I just beat it this year, I was lucky enough to not have the game spoiled for me, because I know after beating the game, I realized that it was actually like a huge meme and like a huge thing, and the whole would you kindly thing, that was something that just a lot of people knew about, but thank God I didn't know about it. So when I finally got to that part of the game, dude, my jaw was on the freaking floor, especially once you get in there and Jack Ryan's just saying like, would you kindly, like, just beat the shit out of me. Like, it was so good. It was such a good twist. And everything about the game was just so good, man. The way that you could, like, combine different ammo types with different plasmids, and different combinations would have different effects on different enemies in correlation to, like, how much damage it would do. And it was just very unique, and it was not like any other FPS I've played, which Bioshock Infinite kind of went back on, which we'll get to that once we get to that game. But yeah, well, if I were to rank all the Bioshock games, I would probably rank it Bioshock Infinite, and then 2, and then 1, which I know is not a very popular opinion. A lot of people would probably put it like 2, 1, and then Infinite, or 1, 2, and then Infinite. Like, nobody really likes Infinite, but I'm fine with being in the minority. I seriously love that game. And me saying that Bioshock 1 was my least favorite isn't even saying it's a bad game, because the game is phenomenal. It's just talking about my experiences with that game, and on top of it, I didn't exactly know how to combine the plasmids, the different ammo types when I was playing it, so I had a lot of difficulty, and I spent the second half of the game with literally no ammo, and I was just running around trying to zap people, and then I'd wrench them to death, and then I'd get drilled in the butt by a Big Daddy, and then, go to the next vital chamber or whatever, repeat. So who knows, when I inevitably replay Bioshock one day, my rankings of the games may change, but as it stands now, it goes Infinite, 2, and 1. And with that, we should go into my feelings of Bioshock 2. The fact that it did, oh my god, my hair, I just realized how bad my hair looks. I can't wait till we hit 300 subs so I can just shave it all off, but Bioshock 2 was pretty good. Every game in the series has some sort of like crazy twist at the end, but Bioshock 2 is the exception. Obviously the endings change depending on how you play the game, how many little sisters you harvest, who you decide to spare and kill throughout, your adventures through Rapture. But that game, just in general, as a good story, I really enjoyed it. Even though there wasn't any crazy twists, I mean, even though that's what Bioshock is kind of known for, I don't feel like you really need that, and Bioshock 2 just goes to prove that. Like, it pulled off a really good story, got me really engaged and connected with the characters, and the fact that you could play as a Big Daddy in that game, that was so awesome. As soon as you started the game, you were beating the shit out of the guys in the cutscene with your drill, and you were like throwing them halfway across the room. Oh my god, I was in love the second I started playing it, and the different weapons you get throughout the game, like the different Big Daddy weapons that you only dreamt of getting to use in Bioshock 1, you could actually use now, and you had like full control. And even then, even though you were one of the most powerful types of people in Rapture, you didn't feel overpowered. Like, it was still balanced enough just because of the different introduced enemy varieties. Like, you had the Big Sisters and other Big Daddies and different series models of Big Daddies and stuff, and different weaponry that the Splicers had, so it never felt unfair just because you were a Big Daddy in a big mech suit now. And by the time I got to Bioshock 2, I started to finally get accustomed to how different plasmids work with different enemies and different ammo types affect them, and I started actually using the camera to research them and get different damage bonuses, so I actually enjoyed Bioshock 2 a lot more and had no trouble beating the game. Sure, there was a few parts I got stuck at temporarily, but it was nowhere near the amount of stuckness that I experienced in Bioshock 1, to say the very least. Which then leads us into Bioshock Infinite. And Bioshock Infinite, in terms of story, believe it or not, is actually my favorite. In terms of twists, it is my favorite. In terms of just everything, gameplay, set pieces, everything, I personally love it. And like I said, I know that's a very controversial opinion, however, it's just something about the game. I play a lot of games, so whenever I have games where there's a lot of set pieces and a lot of just good scripted moments, I really fall in love with it because I remember it for that, while also I love, like, good good gameplay-oriented games that make you kind of tell your own story, kind of like Bioshock 1 and 2. Like, your experience, it's very up to how you play. Like, for me, like I said, Bioshock 1 was, like, brutally difficult at times, but that's just because I was a scrub and didn't entirely, know everything about the game. However, somebody else might have just been like, hey, yo, that was, like, one of the easiest games I've ever played because they actually paid attention and used the camera, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of tell your own story with that one. But with, like, Bioshock Infinite, like, everybody's gonna have a pretty relatively samey experience, just considering the game is so set-piece heavy and linear, which, I mean, neither one is right or wrong, good or bad. It's just my preference. I kind of like those big action set-piece type games. Just because at the rate that I play games, I like games that just kind of keep you moving and keep the adrenaline going, you know what I'm saying? For the most part. I mean, sometimes I like to have a slower game, like I'll like play Minecraft or something, but anyways, back to what I was saying. I saw a lot of parallels between 2 and Infinite, at least in my opinion, kind of how, like, you were trying to save your, what was it, like, your daughter or something like that in Bioshock 2. What was it? Yeah, I believe it was your daughter. I'm already forgetting the story, but yeah, you were, like, trying to save your daughter in Bioshock 2, and then Bioshock Infinite, you don't find out to the very end, but yeah, you were trying to save your daughter the whole time, kind of. And that whole twist, man, oh my god, the whole multiverse thing, it actually kind of gave me a headache, and by the time I got to the end of the game, because the last scene is literally the last 30 seconds is when the twist comes in, and it was probably one of the first times where I genuinely just kind of had my jaw on the floor, like, what? And I just sat there, like, trying to just like, I mean, I don't even know the word. Just comprehend literally everything I just saw. I just love those games where it's like the whole time you're hunting down this villain and it turns out to be you in the end. Like, at the end when Elizabeth, the one of them was like, that's Zachary Comstock, and the other one was like, no, this is Booker DeWitt. And then Booker was just like, no, I'm both. And then they drowned him. Oh my god, it messed with my head so much. But like I said, everything between, like, gameplay and story in that game, it just really kept me hooked. It was so good. If you haven't played any of the Bioshock games, you don't really have to play any of them in order. Like, they're not really that connected. Sure, there's offhand references here and there, and the end of Infinite, you won't get the significance of the underwater city if you don't play the other ones first. But you can really play any of them, and I highly recommend that you do if you haven't before. I mean, that's really that. I don't know. I don't even know what I was trying to say. I probably should have scripted this video a bit more, and I'll probably make a more scripted, in-depth video for, like, each game going forward, because it's one of those games I need to talk about them, but I wanted to summarize my thoughts on all of the games as quickly as I could, just kind of get my bare bones thoughts out there, but I do want to go more in depth in a separate video one day for each game. But yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't played them before, I definitely recommend it. All of them are great, have great stories, great gameplay, great everything. And with that, we'll kind of just wrap up the video there. I'll go die in the lava. As always, a shout out to the Patreon, Fav Grandma, and Lil Bootytap. If you guys enjoyed, do the stuff the algorithm likes. Hopefully I'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 7. Thank you for watching. I love all of you. Peace.